Good morning, all. Yesterday, we have gone through the introduction part of data structures. We have seen the classification of data structures along with the examples which comes under various categories. And then we have discussed the importance of data structures in order to develop an efficient algorithm. Right? All these things we have discussed, and I don't want to go through the syllabus in the same fashion, right? So the advantage of the data structure subject is most of the topics are uh, independent of each other. They doesn't depend on each other, right? So, but there are few topics which depend on each other, and then we'll go in the sequence whenever the time comes, right? So right now we will start the session with fetching topic, right? So I don't want to start our syllabus with linked list. Why? Because one of the most important and the toughest part in the data structures is linked list only. So if I start the concept of linked list in the first class itself, then you will get worried about the data structure subject. So let us start our discussion with very simple topic, which is searching, right? So today our topic of discussion is searching, and if time permits, we will also discuss sorting mechanisms also, right? So may I know under what unit this searching and sorting comes? In the first class, we have discussed the syllabus part, right?
Second unit, sir, searching, sorting, and
Hashing, right? So the searching comes under the second unit, which is very easy topic, and very easy to learn and interesting also, right? That's the reason why I have chosen this particular topic. So today we'll start our discussion with searching. Let me tell you what searching is. The name itself is saying that you are going to search for an element in a given list of elements. So you have n number of elements. You have n number of elements, and your task is to find a particular element in that given list of elements. So that is called as searching, right? You are going to search for an element in a given list of elements. So can anybody tell me what data structure should be used to store the elements? I'm saying that we have n number of elements, and assume that all these elements are of same data type. So what
Sir, arrays.
arrays, right? The definition of array itself says that it's a collection of elements of similar data type. So when you go for searching operation, the searching operation starts by taking n number of elements from the user, which are of same data type. So whatever elements that is given by the user are stored inside the array data structure. So yesterday we have seen, right, what under what category this arrays comes under? Is it the linear data structure or
Linear data structure.
super? It is a linear data structure, right? So the insertions or deletions or the operations that we perform on arrays will be in the sequential fashion. That's the reason why it comes under the category of linear data structure. So the algorithm goes like this: you are the user is forced, or the user is prompted to enter n number of elements of same data type. So whatever elements that are taken by the user, that you will push it into the array. And the second step is the user is prompted to enter an element or the search element. So whenever the search element is given by the user, your algorithm starts searching for that element, right? And whenever you find an element in the given list of elements, you simply display the message that element found in so and so index. What do you mean by indexing? Where do you hear this term index?
in arrays, sir, first element is indexed by 0, 1.
Right. In arrays, we have a concept called as indexing, which allows us to access the array elements in a random fashion, right? So the array index always starts with 0 and ends with n-1. So if the user wants to access the fifth element, the corresponding index is 4. Therefore, he can access it by making use of the notation like A of 4, where A is the array, name of the array, right? Similarly, if the user wants to access the 10th element, he can access it by using A of 9. So this 9 is nothing but the index number. 9 and 4 are index numbers. So indexing is a concept which is automatically given by the compiler for arrays concept, and the usage of this indexing is we are able to access the array elements in a random fashion, right? So going to the our fetching method, the first step is you need to access the number of elements, n number of elements from the user. The second step is you need to prompt the user to enter the search element. Whenever the user enters the search element, then you have to start your algorithm searching, and whenever you find the search element in the given list of elements, the thing is you have to display the message that the element found in so and so index. That's it. If the element is not present in the given list of elements, then you have to display a message saying that the element is not found in the list of elements. Simple thing, right? But there are two methods. There are basically two methods. There are number of searching algorithms, but for our syllabus, from our syllabus point of view, we will be discussing only two searching algorithms. One is called as, remember carefully, one is called as linear search, and the second one is called as binary search. Linear search and binary search. Other than this, we might be familiar with one more searching algorithm that is called as Fibonacci search, right? But we are not going to discuss this Fibonacci search. It is out of our scope. So in our syllabus, we have this linear search and binary search. That's the reason why we are going to discuss this linear and binary. So coming to the first searching algorithm, which is called as linear. So what do you understand by the term linear search? Can you give some idea on what linear search is according to this particular line?
Sequential search.
Sequential.
Super, right? Therefore, sequential. Whenever you hear the term linear, then you can simply assume that it is sequential fashion. You can assume it as a sequential fashion. Right. Sequential means one after the other. Therefore, the first step, as I told that we have the step one as you have to take some n elements from the user and store it in the array. Let me take the n number of elements. Let me take 8 elements. Right? Can anybody give me some random list of elements here?
7.
7.
10.
Random means okay, random is there, but
0.
okay, 0.
3. 6.
24.
3, 6,
Minus 1.
71. Right. So these are the list of elements. So according to first step, I have taken n elements from the user and I have stored it in the array. What is second step? You need to prompt the user to enter the search element. Let me take the array element name as variable name as SC. SC stands for search element. Now give me the search element. Anybody?
-1, sir. -1.
Okay, we'll search for -1. So, right. And the step 3 is the actual algorithm which you are going to implement for this linear search. Right. So what the linear search, as the name itself is suggesting, that you need to search the element in a sequential fashion. That means element by element you have to search. So you start your search from the 0th element. 0th element means the first element, right? From the 0th index of the array. So you compare the search element with the element that is present in the 0th location. The search element is -1 compared with the element of the 0th element, that is nothing but 7. Is 1 equal to 7 or not?
No, sir. No, sir.
No. Therefore,
No,
you
sir.
have to go for the next element. Again, compare the search element with the next element. 1 compared with 10, not equal. So what you have to do, you have to go next step. That means you have to move to the next element. 1 compared with 0, not equal. Go to next element. 1 compared with 3, not equal. Go to next element. 1 minus 1 compared with 6, not equal. Go to next element. Minus 1 compared with 34. Go to next element. Minus 1 compared with 1. Yes, the element that you are fetching is matched with this particular index. What is the index?
6.
It is 6. Therefore, what you will do is you will simply display a message that -1 is found at 6th index. Like this you can write. Any customary message you can do. Any message of your own you can write it. But the algorithm has to say that you have found the element in the given list of elements. Right. So let us search for an element which is not present in the list. Right. For example, I want to search for 23 or 21. Let me take 21. Right. So again, the search element is compared with the 0th element. 21 compared with 7, not equal. Go to the next element. 21 compared with 10, not equal. Go to next element. 21 compared with 0, not equal. Like that, you keep on moving.
Linear search is very inefficient, sir.
Yeah, that I will tell you. Right. So that you keep on moving until you go to the last element. For example, 21 compared with 71. So you did not find a match in the given list of elements. So the message what we have to give is element not found. Right. So this is a very simple algorithm where you need to set the given element or compare the set element with starting from the first element and then moving it in a linear fashion. That means element by element you have to compare. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So we'll see how this what are the time complexities of this linear set, right? We'll see what is the worst case analysis and what is the average case analysis and what is the best case analysis. That we will see only for the linear, right? So what is a set algorithm? A set algorithm is a method of identifying or locating a specific item or specific object or information or data, whatever it may be, in a large collection of data, right? That is what we are doing, right? And as I told that there are two fetching algorithms that we are going to discuss in this data structure syllabus. That is the linear search and the binary search. So coming to the characteristics of the linear search, it is a very simple algorithm. So if you know the concept of arrays, the implementation of linear search is very easy. Why? Because it involves just the comparison operation. Is it right or not? What you are doing? What operation you are performing in the linear search?
Comparison.
Just comparison.
Just comparison. It's not only related to the linear search. Any search algorithm, the operation that you are going to perform is nothing but comparison, right? So, but the way you compare differs from one algorithm to another algorithm. So in linear search, you start your comparison from the first element and you continue until you find the element or until you reach the end of the array, right? So it is a very simple algorithm which involves just comparison operation and traversing the array from first element to the last element. So how do you process or how do you traverse from the first element to last element in an array? Any idea?
For loop, sir.
Not only for loop, we have to use the looping construct, right? So when you use a looping construct, you can traverse the given array from starting to end. So you can see it in the second point, right? It uses just a looping construct to sequentially step through the array, starting from the first element. That is the reason why we are calling this search as a linear search or sequential search, right? So the third point regarding this linear search is we are going to compare. So the only operation that we are performing in the search is comparison operation. So it compares each element with the search value or search element. being searched for and stops when the algorithm is going to stop in two cases. The first case is when you find the element in the array or when you reach the end of the array. So in both the cases, what is the first case? You have found the element. Or the second case is you have reached the end of the array. In both the cases, the algorithm is going to stop. Right. So these are the three characteristics of the linear search, and an example we have taken and we have discussed that example also. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Right. Now we'll see the advantages and disadvantages of this linear search. Coming to the advantages, as I told that it is very easy to understand, very simple algorithm, and it is very easy to understand and program also. Right, programming is also very simple for implementing this linear search, and it is easy to implement, and it does not require the array to be in order. This is very important. Right. Have you taken the elements in the ordered manner or in the unordered manner? Ordered means yesterday we have yesterday we had a lot of discussion on ordering and unordering. Right, ordering means in the sorted order. Unordered means not in the sorted order. So have you taken the elements in the sorted order or unsorted order?
Unsorted order, sir.
Unsorted order. So linear search does not impose any restriction that the elements should be in the sorted order. Right. This is one of the important difference between the linear search and binary search. When we go through the binary search, then we'll discuss the thing. Right. Is it clear? The third point is very important, that it does not require the array to be in order. And coming to the disadvantage of the linear search algorithm, it is very inefficient. It is very inefficient. When it is inefficient, if it is inefficient, why we are discussing all these things, right? So when the list of elements, that means when we have a limited list of elements, very few elements we have, like the example which we have discussed. How many elements we have taken?
7, sir.
8 elements, sir.
8 elements we have taken, right? So for finding out an element or for searching an element in a limited list of elements or very few elements, this algorithm is efficient. This linear search algorithm will be inefficient. But when the list of elements keep on increasing, or when you want to search for an element which have large elements, large collection of data, then when you want to search for an element which is present at the last part of the array, in such cases the algorithm is inefficient, right? It does not perform well. So here is an example we have taken. If there are 20,000 items, item is nothing but data, right? If there are 20,000 items in the array and we are going to find an element which is located at 19,999. How many comparison operations you have to perform here?
19,999.
19,999. Why? Because the linear search starts its searching or comparison from the first element. Since my element is present at the 19,999th position, you need to perform 19,909 comparisons, right? So in such cases, whenever you have large set of elements and whenever you want to find the elements which are present at the end of the array, then the linear search is not suggestible, or the performance is reduced, right? So this is the only disadvantage we have. Other than that, it is very simple to implement, which is very easy to understand, and you doesn't require the elements to be in the sorted order. So these are the three advantages. And is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. Now let us see the analysis part. Can anybody? What are the? How can you identify, or how can you calculate the performance of the algorithm? What are the two metrics we have?
Time and complexity and space.
Complexity and
Right. Time and space complexity, right? But out of these two complexities, or out of these two metrics, I told you that the space complexity does not have that much importance. Why? Because we have abundant memory that is available, therefore nobody is bothered about the memory constraints, right? But the time complexity, the metric time complexity plays a very vital role. And while discussing the time complexity concept, we have discussed that the time complexity means, the definition goes like this: the time complexity is the total time required for the algorithm to execute is called as time complexity. But we have put some important points over there, right? So even though we are describing the time complexity as the total time taken by for executing the algorithm, it should not be considered as the actual clock time, right? You should not take that for completing the algorithm it takes 10 milliseconds. That is not to be that is not the
Number
actual
of
clock time.
operations.
Super, right? So the time complexity depends on the number of operations, the number of inner loops, the number of outer loops. So all these parameters, they influence, or they have some influential factor on this time complexity, right? So what is the operation that we are performing during the search algorithm or in the search algorithm?
Comparisons.
Comparison, right? So whenever you want to find the time complexity, you have to check how many comparisons you have performed to find that element, right? For example, in the previous example where we have taken 8 elements and we are searching for an element called -1, how many comparisons we have performed?
6 comparisons.
Seven, sir. Seven comparisons, sir.
7, right? You will start with this -1 compared with 7, 10, 0, 3, 6, 34, and you have to compare this -1 also. But then only you can identify that -1 is equal to -1, right? So 7 comparisons you have performed, right? So that total time complexity that incurred for searching an element -1 in this present scenario or in the given list of elements is how much? Time complexity is nothing but number of operations. How many comparison operations you have performed?
Seven, sir. Seven.
7. Now tell me the time complexity in this particular scenario. What is the notation we have to use for time complexity? In the last
Big O
class
notations.
of big O notation.
Big O notation. Big O.
Not only big O notations, asymptotic notations. What is this big O? Is it the
Upper bound, sir.
upper bound?
Worst case.
Is it the
Worst case
worst case or average case or
Worst case.
Worst case.
worst case? So whenever we want to discuss the efficiency of an algorithm, we have to discuss in terms of the worst case time complexity only. Therefore, big O notation is having the more importance when compared to that of other two notations. What are the other two notations? Other than big O?
Omega notations.
Okay, omega notation. And what about the other one?
Theta.
Theta.
Data.
You should not say it as theta. We have to say it as
Sir, voice breaking, sir.
సార్ మీ ఆడియో కట్ అయిపోయింది సార్, డిస్కనెక్ట్ అయిపోయింది.
Can you hear my voice?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Can you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Right. So coming to our discussion, in order to find the worst case time complexity, we have a notation called big O notation. And other than that, we have other two notations such as big omega and big theta, right? So as I told that whenever we want to find the actual efficiency of an algorithm, then we will go for the worst case time complexity. Why? Because it specifies the upper bound, right? So what is the time complexity? So whenever you are asked to find the time complexity, you will give the notation in the big O notation only. Ma, are you able to listen to my voice?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So we need to denote the time complexity using the big O notation. So in this particular scenario, what is the time complexity we have? It is big O of, what is big O of?
6.
How many comparisons for -1?
7.
So it is big O of 7. It is big O of 7. We can write like this also. It is big O of 7. But we'll find the formula what actually is. We should not write it as big O of 7. Why? Because there are no constant values in the big O notation. Right? We have seen some properties of the big O notation where we did not find any constants. Right? For example, if I have 3n cube, I can remove this 3 and I can say that the complexity is n cube, where n is the number of elements, right? So we'll see the actual time complexity, but for this particular scenario, since -1, for finding the -1, we have 7 comparisons. That is the reason why we are saying that it is big O of 7, right? But don't assume that actually this is big O of 7. Right? This is just for our understanding purpose. Now, let me tell you what is a worst case. What is the worst case in this linear search? Can anybody tell me what is the worst case?
Last element మన search element అయితే sir.
So if the last element is our search element, then we can say that it is a worst case scenario. Similarly, if the element that you are going to search is not present in the list, then this is also a category of worst case, right? So in these two cases, if the search element is the last element, or if the search element is not present in the given list of elements, then we consider it as the worst case, right? So for example, can anybody tell me what could be the time complexity in this worst case if there are n elements?
Big O of n.
Super, right? So if it is the last element, then you have to make how many comparisons? N comparisons you have to perform. Similarly, if the element is not present, then also you have to perform n comparisons. So the worst case time complexity is big O of n. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Right. So can anybody tell me what could be the average case?
Big O of n by 2.
No, let me tell you what this average case is. I'm not going to discuss each and every search algorithm like this, or each and every algorithm like this, right? So at least you should have
When
an
the element
idea
we
of
want is
what
in
the
between.
worst case is. You should know what an average case is. You should know what the best case is. That's the reason why we are discussing in depth for this particular scenario, right? So we know the worst case. So in the search algorithm, the worst case is whether the element that you are going to search is the last element or the element is not present. In such scenario, you have to make n comparisons. That is the reason why the worst case time complexity comes to big O of n. So let me tell you what this average case is. Average case means you have to take all the cases all the cases, and you have to find the average, right? So for example, how many comparisons you require to search the first element?
One
One
comparison, sir.
How many comparisons for the second element?
Two, sir.
Two, sir.
How many comparisons for the third element?
Three, sir.
Three, sir.
And so on.
Four.
How many comparisons for the nth element?
N,
N
sir.
comparisons, sir.
N. So
N into n plus 1 by 2.
we have to take the average of all these complexities. N. Average means by n. Is it right or not?
N
So
plus
what is
1
the
by 2 plus
formula
1 by
for
2.
sum of n numbers? It is n into
N plus
N plus 1 by 2.
1 by 2
into,
by N.
right. So this is cancelled, and we have the notation as n by 2 plus 1 by 2. Right. According to the properties, we don't consider the constant term, so remove it. And similarly, we have finally we have n by 2. This can be written as 1 by 2 into n. And what is the equivalent value in the big O notations? N by 2.
Big of n.
N, sir.
N only, right? So we will neglect this one, and it is big O of n. Is it right or not? So what is the average time complexity of the linear set?
Big
Big O of n.
of N.
Big O of n only. Nothing to confuse, right? So the worst case time complexity is big O of n, and the average case time complexity is also big O of 1. So what is the other case we are left with?
Best
Yes.
Best case.
Best case. Can anybody
Big O
tell
of
me
one.
what do you mean
Big
by
O
the
of
best
one.
case? What is,
If it's the first element, sir.
so if the set element is the first element, for example, I am going to set the 7 in this list. So that will be the best case. That means you are going to find the element in the first comparison itself. So the best case analysis for the linear set is big O of 1. Is it right or not? Right. So this is how we find the complexities, the time complexities of various algorithms. Since the searching algorithm is very easier to understand, I have given a brief idea, a good idea on what this worst case, average case, and best case. Right? Is it clear up to this point?
Yes, sir.
We have half 15 minutes more. Let me go to the other algorithm. Right? This thing we have discussed. Worst case time for the linear search. The worst case can be considered whenever the record you are finding that you are able, the record which you are going to find appears in the last position, or the desired location desired record does not appear in the array itself. So the worst case time complexity will be big O of n, which we have discussed earlier. Similarly, average case means you have to take the time complexities of each and every element, and then you have to find the average, right? If there are n elements, if you find the time complexities of each and every element, that is first element 1 comparison, second element 2 comparisons, and then n comparisons for the n element. If we find the, what is this one, the average of all the time complexities, then we will reach out for this value, and finally the average time complexity reaches out to be big O of n, right? But best case, I have discussed in the earlier class about this earlier slide about this best case, right? Best case is where you are able to find the search element in the first position itself, in the first comparison operation. So the obviously you are going to make only one comparison, and then the best case will be big O of 1. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Right. Now coming to the other part, or the second search algorithm, which is called as binary search. What do you mean by binary? What do you understand by this term, binary?
Binary search,
numbers.
sir, binary search basically splits the elements into half and keeps splitting them into half. Again, right hand side, left hand side.
Yeah, that is true. But what do you understand? I'm not asking you the actual implementation or actual algorithm, right? What do you understand by this binary?
Two sets, sir. Dividing into two.
So
Dividing
bind is
into
2. It is 2. That means every time you divide the given array into 2 parts. Every time you divide the array into 2 parts, and you keep on searching the element either in the left part or the right part, right? This is how the binary search is going to perform. Let me take an example before going into the actual discussion. Let me take an example. Give me 1 minute of time. Can you see the WordPad here?
yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Can you see my annotations here?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So let us start our discussion of the binary search. The search algorithm, the first step remains the same. What is the first step? What is the first step?
Taking
What is the first
elements.
step in search algorithm?
Taking elements.
Prompt the user to enter the list of elements. So list of elements are entered by the user, right? And they should be kept inside an array, right? But remember that whenever you are implementing the binary search, there is a specific restriction on the input, right? The restriction on the input is you have to accept the elements in the ascending order or descending order, right? So the list of elements that you are accepting from the user should be in the ascending order or descending order. Therefore, you are restricted to take the ordered list of elements only. So without the ordered list of elements, you cannot implement the binary search. This is the only restriction we have, right? But other than this, we have a lot of advantages of this binary search when compared to that of the linear search. We'll see what are the advantages. So when we expect some advantage from an algorithm, what you are expecting, what actually you are expecting.
Advantage is that it reduces our work into half, sir.
Yeah,
Keeps on
advantage
reducing
is
into
that
half.
whenever I say that the algorithm is efficient, that means the algorithm is going to perform better. That means the time complexity is going to be reduced. So whenever you reduce the time complexity, you get an efficient algorithm. Is it right or not? So we are going to compare only these two search algorithms, whether the binary search performs better than the linear search or the linear search performs better than the binary search, right? So when somebody asks you what is the best searching algorithm, it is obviously the binary search only. Why? Because the time complexity of binary search is very much less than the linear search. So binary search is efficient searching algorithm when compared to the linear search, right? But the only restriction you are imposed is that the elements, the list of elements you are going to take in the array should be in the ordered form only. That means you have to take it in the ascending order, right? Listen carefully. So let me take 8 elements. Can anybody give me the list of 8 elements?
1 to 8, sir.
5.
No, it is a bad list. 5,
9.
9,
12.
21.
12,
24.
21,
30.
30,
48.
Orbital orbit is a part of the electron surrounding the probability of finding the electron around the nucleus. It is denoted
53,
say
ఏం మాట్లాడుతున్నారమ్మా?
అది మా చెల్లి చదువుతుంది.
Next, give me the sixth element, seventh element.
60, sir. 60, 61.
Okay, 65.
60, 76. 76, sir.
86.
Round. Right. So whenever you take the elements from the user, you should always input it in the sorted order. Right. Now, what is step 2? What is step 2? You have to enter the set element. Can you tell me what is the set element?
38.
We can take some
21.
13, sir.
21. Okay. And step 3 is the actual algorithm. Now listen carefully. This is where we are going to
Larger
implement
than
the
30 or less than 30, we have to evaluate this. The middle value.
let me tell you, right? So the set element is 21, and the step 3 is where you are going to implement the actual algorithm, right? So here what you will do is you have to find the middle element. So the actual binary algorithm starts with finding the middle element. How do you find the middle element? You have to find the middle index, right? So you, by looking at this particular example, we can say that some 30 or 21 will be the middle, but you have to program it. You have to tell the computer with instructions. In order to find the middle element, you have to find the middle index. So how do you find the middle index? You take the lowest index, which is 0, this one, and what is the largest index we have? 7. So plus 7 by 2, right? What is 7 by 2?
3.5.
3.5.
But there is no 3.5, right? So either you take the floor value or
Or seal
take
value.
the
C.
seal value, right? Let us go with the seal value, right? What is the seal of 3.5?
4.
4, sir. 4.
Right, 4. So the element that is present at the index 4 is the middle element, right? So the first step is completed. That means you find the middle element. The index of the middle element is 4 and the element is 30, right? The element is nothing but A of 4, which is nothing but 30. Now you compare the set element with the middle element. What is the set element we have? 21. Compare this 21 with 30. Is it equal or not?
Less than. Not equal.
No, it is not equal. And you have to compare it. 21 is less than 30. Is it clear? So what you have to do is when you observe the list of elements, the elements that are to the left hand side of this 30 are less than 30, and the elements to the right hand side are greater than 30. Can you hear my voice?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So 21 is compared with 30, and since 21 is less than 30, we can identify that 21 will be damn sure it will be present in the left side part only. Right. So what we'll do is we will neglect the right hand part of this array. So middle element is this one. We will neglect the elements from this 30 to the right hand part. So this is the first iteration. First iteration, what we have done, we have compared the set element with the middle element. Since it is not equal, and since we have observed that 21 is less than 30, we are going to neglect the right part. Right. So we are going to make the binary search operation again in the only left part only. Right. So what you are going to do, again you have to find the middle element. Now middle element of the left sub array. So what is the starting index of left sub array?
0.
What is the highest index of left sub array?
3.
3. What is 3 by 2?
1.5.
Seal of 1.5 is?
2. 2, sir.
2, sir.
So you compare the set element with A of 2. What is A of 2? It is 12. So 21 compared with 12. Since 21 is greater than 12, we identified that 21 always lies on the right hand part of 12. So what you will do? We will simply neglect the left part. We'll simply ignore the left part of this subarray. Right. Now we are left with only one element, 21. Right. So again you find the middle element, 3 plus 3 by 2. What is the answer? It is 3. Therefore, you compare the set element with A of 3. So 21 compared with 21. Is it equal or not?
Yes, sir.
Equal, sir.
Now we'll simply say that the element is found. The element is found, right? So how many total comparisons we have performed here? How many total comparisons?
Three, sir.
3.
3. First is
Three,
with the
sir.
middle element of the entire array, that is with 30 we have compared, and the second comparison is we have compared with the middle element of the left subarray, which is 12, and the third comparison is with the middle element of the right subarray of subarray, right? So which is A of 3. But if you go for the linear search, how many comparisons you will do?
Up to we find that elements such
Four,
as
sir.
Yes.
So four comparisons, right? And one more question: can we implement the linear search on sorted array?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
There is no restriction that it may be sorted or not, sir.
Linear search can be implemented on unordered or ordered. Anything can be possible. But binary search is only possible on the ordered set of elements only. This point you have to remember, right? So if you want to search for the element 21, you are going to make how many comparisons? 3 comparisons using binary search and 4 comparisons using linear search. So we didn't find any great difference between this 3 and 4. But let me take another example. I want to search for 76. I want to search for the last element. I want to take the worst case of the linear search. 76. How many comparisons I have to perform if I want to search using linear search?
8, sir.
8 comparisons. Now let us check how many comparisons we are going to perform in case of binary search. So the first element we are going to search is again 30. Now my search element is 76. 76 compared with 30. Since we have identified that 76 is greater than 30, we will move to the right part. Right. Now find the middle element of this right subarray. How do you find the middle element? Again, you take the lowest index, which is 5. What is the highest index?
7, sir.
7. 5 plus 7 by 2. What is the answer?
6.
It is seal of 6, which is 6, right? So you compare 76 with 65. Therefore, one more comparison. Since you have identified that 76 is greater than 65, and you compare it with the right part. Again, you find the middle element. It is 7 plus 7 by 2. Therefore, lowest index is 7 and highest index is 7. 7 plus 7 by 2 is 7, right? So compare 76 compared to 76. So you have done only 3 comparisons. But when you move to the linear search, you are performing or you are finding the search element with 8 comparisons. If this is the case with just 8 elements, now assume what will be the case if we have the large number of elements. That means if we have some 20,000 elements, which we have discussed earlier, and then I want to find the 19,999th element, right? So the linear search is 19,999. But what about the binary search? What could be the answer?
one by 2 power n.
No, right? It will be very less than 19,999. We should accept it, right? So the binary search complexity is big O of log n base 2. It is big O of log n base 2, where n is the number of elements. Right? For example, if you take this case of 8 elements, the time complexity or the worst case time complexity is big O of n, which is nothing but 8. Now, if I want to find the binary set, it is log 8 base 2. What is the value? It is log 2 cube base 2, which is 3 into log 2 base 2. What is log 2 base 2? 1, which is 3. Right. Now tell me what happens in 20,000 case. It is bigger of log 20,000 base 2. Right. What will be the value here? Any guess? Right. Forget about this. You find out the answer. Is it clear up to this point?
Yes, sir.
Right. So let me have a quick review of this binary set, which is much more efficient than the linear set. We have discussed it. It requires the list to be in order. We have discussed this point. So the algorithm starts searching the middle element. So we have discussed how to find the middle element. It is nothing but the first index plus last index by 2. That is how you find the middle element. So if the item is less than the middle element, what you will do? You have to again apply the binary search on the left half or the first half of the list. If the item is greater than the middle element, then you have to apply the search element or search algorithm in the second half of the list, and you have to continue halving the list until the item is found. So here you are going to apply the same algorithm over and over again. So either you can implement it by using recursion or non-recursion. Right? Is it clear? So there exist two different algorithms for the binary search. One is you can implement the as well as the non-recursion also. But recursion is found to be a simple solution. Right. So as I told that, what is the worst case time complexity? It is big O of log n base 2. Similarly, the average case is also big O base 2. Right. So one simple trick which you can use it here is whenever you are halving the given list of elements, then obviously the result will be around log n base 2 only. In future also we will discuss some of the algorithms where we will divide the given list of elements into two equal parts. So whenever you divide it into two equal parts and you are performing the search on either of the part, then it is obviously around big O of log n base 2. Is it clear? Is it clear? Right. So in today's class, we have discussed this linear search and binary search. So this is the end of session. Thank you very much. Let me take the attendance and then you can leave. Right. You can leave, Amma. Thank you. Thank you very much.